Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am doing a very old school video today that I haven't done in quite some time, and that is a chit chat get ready with me. I don't really do like makeup videos, hair videos, those kinds of videos really anymore, but sometimes it makes me sad because I love watching these kinds of videos, especially when I'm getting ready in the morning. I know a lot of you guys watch my videos when you're getting ready in the morning, prepping for your day, and so I thought it would be fun just to kind of bring this video back. I'm going to chat with you guys. When I do my podcast episodes, I usually ask for submissions from you guys on a lot of like advice that you guys have, whether that be about relationships, whether that be about career, whether that be about health, like all the different things. But I thought it would be fun to just answer some of the ones I haven't gotten to get to because I typically get quite a few submissions, and so I thought it would be fun just to go in and answer some of these kind of like advice questions you guys have, or just questions you guys have submitted before. I did a life update Q&A pretty recently, so I don't want to talk too much about myself. I want to kind of answer kind of advice things that you guys might be going through. I'm also getting ready for a date, which I thought would be fun. It's Thursday. That's usually when we do a date night. We're going to this restaurant called St. Anne tonight, so I'm really excited just to enjoy having a nice date night. But yeah, I'm going to share all the products I've been using. I'm going to share how I kind of do my hair when I do it and all the things. So grab a nice cup of coffee or a kombucha, whatever it may be, and let's just get into this video. So I'm gonna start off with my hair. I actually usually do my makeup first, but I kind of want to start off with my hair today. I'm going to show you guys how I curl my hair usually. I've been into a middle part for the past bit, so I'm just going to do my middle part. I get asked all the time which curling iron I use, and it's this T3 one. It's a set, and I just use the 1-inch barrel on it. So you can actually like change the barrels on this, but I just use the 1-inch. I'm going to find a question to answer before we get into it. So this question says, my question is, how do you handle a tense relationship with your partner's parents? My boyfriend and I have been together for years now, and it's not that I don't get along with his parents, it's just that we kind of have an awkward relationship. I feel like his parents don't like my beliefs and opinions, which is totally okay, but they think less of me because of it, which is not okay. How would you handle that situation? It's hard to chat and do this at the same time, so I'm gonna share how I do it. I just take my curling iron, I wrap my hair around it, I hold it for like 2 seconds. This curling iron gets pretty hot, so I don't hold it for too long. I catch it in my hand usually, and I kind of let it like cool a little bit, and then I let it down. And that is how I curl my hair, and I'll kind of like blend them all at the end, you'll see. I think there's a level to it where you do have to respect your partner's parents because they are his parents, and you don't want to, I don't know, be rude to them or whatever, but it is hard when you say that you've been together for years and it's something that you've been dealing with for that long and you feel like you've been judged. I honestly think this is something that one of my viewers sent in, but this was as it pertains to marriage, but I think if you're in a relationship at all, this is kind of a good rule of thumb. But they said that blood confronts blood. It's actually smarter to have your partner address the problem with their parents instead of you addressing it, because they're like his blood parents, and I definitely think that's a smarter way to go about doing it, just because you never want to have a tense relationship with them. But if he could just like ask them in a polite way why they act the way that they do around you, like if they have any sort of feelings towards you, and kind of address it with them. I always think that's the best way to go. I don't think that it should be something that like you address with them. I think that that could just make you feel really uncomfortable, and at the end of the day, it's his parents, so he should address them. It doesn't have to be like this tight-knit thing. Unless you want it to be that way, then I think you can work towards that. But it is hard if you do have just like different beliefs and opinions. It can definitely be tricky. I was wondering what advice you have on dealing with conflicts in romantic relationships. Specifically, how do you know when to walk away or continue to work through conflicts? I've been guilty of trying to mend conflict that has gone too far in the past, and it's hard to reflect and see the time I've wasted when in retrospect it was clearly not God's plan for me. Love your content. I think it just depends on the extent of the relationship that you want to have with this person. If this is someone who you're definitely like working towards having a long-term future with, I think the answer is different than if it's just like a casual relationship. Like if it is something where you're seeing yourself being with this person for the long term, you're much more likely to work through things, versus if it's just someone who you don't necessarily see yourself having a long-term future with. Like, I don't think you would want to waste the time in trying to mend things. I guess you guys are watching this on a Saturday, but on Monday I'm posting a podcast episode all about dealing with conflict. I got really good perspective from you guys as well, so I think it'll be a good episode if you're interested in that. I don't just want to like bump you off to that. Something I talk about in the episode though is how everyone just has different like conflict styles, how they deal with conflict. For me, I'm definitely someone who avoids conflict. I'm not a confrontational person. I'm not someone who likes to like bring things up and talk through them. It makes me extremely uncomfortable, and I like feel physically sick having to walk into a confrontation of any sort. But you know, there are certain instances when you do have to do that. So I guess it depends on what the conflict is actually about. But there are some people who have collaborating styles. There's some people who have like passive styles where they just try to please the other person. And so I think you just compromise and you talk through things if there's something that's bothering you. I think there are red flags when you're disagreeing with someone and having conflict with them and they are just going about it in a really unhealthy way, yelling a lot, like running away, making you feel a certain way that you don't want to feel. I think that those are all things to look out for, because usually those problems don't get worked through super easily, and they don't define anyone, but it's just a matter of if you want to be in that kind of situation. So like obviously within a marriage, you're probably going to work at conflict in a way that's different than if you're just in a relationship, because if you're in like a dating relationship, it's much easier just to end the relationship. But yeah, I think it's important too to make sure that the other person is kind of like pulling their weight in conflict, that it's not just you always trying to resolve problems, because then that probably is going to make you really resentful towards them. So as you can tell, my hair is extremely curly. So then I just like to use my fingers and really just work through the curls and make sure that they fall. I have naturally very straight hair, as you saw in the beginning. And so I like to keep my hair like more curly and then let it fall rather than trying to make it more wavy. So yeah, it's really curly, but I'll show you guys when I'm at dinner tonight. Like it fades so much and falls a lot. So after that, I just use a hairspray. I use this Argan Oil of Morocco multi-benefit hairspray. I really like this hairspray. I think that it makes your hair nice and shiny, but it doesn't feel stiff at all. It's just kind of like a nice hold that it has. And then because I am gonna do my makeup, I'm just gonna kind of clip back these front parts so it's out of my face. For makeup, this is pretty much my everyday makeup routine. I just have a bin. I literally just keep all of my makeup in this bin, and I pretty much only use these products. I don't have like other makeup that I use. As you guys know, I try to keep things like relatively minimal, so this is just my preference, but I'm using my IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Cream. I love this. I think it's the best foundation you can use. It's lightweight, but it covers. It's just great, but I'm just using this on my beauty blender. I got this question that says, I struggle with really bad anxiety and it is so hard for me to get out of my head with all sorts of negativity, real life fears, and I would like your input on how to make this stop. I'm also very sensitive and always seem to get super emotional very fast in situations and easily cry. I haven't been diagnosed, but I have a feeling I'm bipolar and I have a hard time managing my emotions. This affects my life day to day and it's really frustrating, but I feel like it doesn't help with the amount of stress I'm always under. I work at 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday job, and on top of that, I'm a realtor, so I always am on call. Do you have any advice on ways to help manage my stress and to make a healthy routine? I really enjoy my me time, and I seem to never have time for that anymore. And I think that also doesn't help my stress since I've never seemed to be able to wind down. So I've talked about this a lot, but I think that ever since moving back to Texas after New York, I think my life has really changed in this aspect where I just don't want to put myself in a lot of stressful situations. Given the job I have, it's not an extremely stressful job. I think it is in some ways, but not in terms of like it takes so much time like other jobs. And so I think when you're in that situation, you just have to make time for that like me time that you talked about, especially if that's something that you just really want to be doing. But yeah, it's hard when you have like certain boundaries. I think things that help me deal with stress is just kind of prioritizing having quiet time, and sometimes even like having me time and doing things can feel like, okay, I need to do this. And so actually taking time to do stuff that doesn't take you actually like doing something. So whether that be reading, whether that be just like sitting down and watching a show, I used to view those things as kind of like lazy things, I feel like, back when I used to live a certain way. But now I see it as like a way to recharge and be more present when you actually have to get things done. Yeah, it sounds like you have, she also said she's a realtor who has to be on call. So that's hard when it's like, even when it's your break time, you don't know when you're going to actually be on call. But yeah, I don't know. What are like ways, I'd be interested to hear if you want to comment down below, ways that you find you can like chill out and just be less stressed. I think it's hard from my perspective because I just don't live an extremely stressful lifestyle. I guess enjoying your weekends too, if that's not a time that you're working to, and really prioritizing setting aside that time to maybe not socialize as much, but actually to recharge in whatever way that looks for you. Angle may have changed because Cash wanted up on the couch, but I'm now using my Instant Age Rewind concealer. I just used the brightener one. I like this because I do have pretty dark under eyes. And I just put this under my under eye and blend it with my beauty blender. This one says, I've been dating my significant other for a few years now and we are in such a healthy and loving relationship. The only thing is that my best friend and him don't get along great. There's no drama or anything remotely close to that. They just don't click as friends. It makes me feel really awkward. How do you find the balance between wanting your significant other to be friends with your friends, but also not wanting to push a friendship on them and avoiding awkwardness? Does my significant other have to be friends with my friends? I think it's healthy to have friendships like outside of your relationship. I think it's good to have friends that you click with and then friends that your significant other clicks with. Like, it's healthy to have kind of your own friend groups, but I do think it is also healthy if they at least get along. Like, if they do hang out, it's not super awkward, but I don't think all your friendships have to be like joint friendships. I think it's really healthy to have friends that are just your friends. I'm now just going in with my Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I just like to bake underneath my eyes. I'm obviously filming this a little bit in the evening too, so I feel like the sun's going down and it's getting a little bit dark, so I have my ring light if it looks kind of stark, but I just take this and I bake underneath my eyes. I then just use my powder brush and I take this and I do the rest of my face. I also like to put some on my eyelids. My eyebrow pencil, I believe, is actually almost out. I just use the Revlon Color Stay eyebrow pencil, but yeah, I think it's almost out, so I'm gonna use it until it's out and then show you something I do when I run out of my eye pencil. But I literally just fill in my brows like this. So that filled them in a little bit, but not a ton. I usually just take a dark brown eyeshadow and I'll take the spoolie and just kind of run it a little bit over that. And then I'll just use the spoolie and kind of run it through my eyebrows. We're just going for a natural look tonight, so just gonna do it on the other end. And yeah, that's just kind of like my simple brow routine when, like I said, running out of my eyebrow pencil. This says, what has been the hardest thing to buy less of in order to save money or be more minimalistic? I'm going in with this Kat Von D palette and I'm just taking some of these like brown shades and I just kind of like put them all over my eye. I think for me, the hardest thing has been clothes. I really like having options with clothes, and I go through phases where I'll be really okay with just wearing the same thing for a while, and then I'll go through phases where I really want options. And I follow fashion bloggers on Instagram who post a lot of clothes, and so I just like having more. I've gotten better with just not necessarily needing to have a ton of clothes, but trying to be better at being okay with wearing the same thing like over and over again. I don't know why, I just always feel guilty. Even like being a YouTuber, I'm always like, someone's gonna notice that I wore this shirt 2 days ago in a vlog and I'm wearing it again. And I don't know, I do think I wear a lot of the same stuff over and over again, but I still sometimes catch myself like getting kind of insecure about that. And I think that literally stems from like a childhood thing where one of my friends in middle school asked me why I wore the same thing every week. And I still remember that. It's crazy how like childhood stuff sticks with you. But yeah, I think it's clothes, but sometimes it's because I feel pressure, but it's also sometimes just because I like having clothes. But I try to be better at it. I'm not perfect. I've never claimed to be perfect at like being more minimal, but for me, that's just something that I try to do. And since dealing with hair loss, I found that my eyelashes have really thinned out a lot. I don't have a ton of eyelashes. And so I'm actually gonna apply some fake lashes, but I usually just like to use my Maybelline eyeliner, and I will just line my eyes first. And I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna do the rest of my face makeup. So I just take off all of my powder that I have on. Let's answer another question. She also asked, have you and Aiden ever experienced stress on how to balance family time and personal time in your relationship? Obviously family time is really important, but how do you respectfully make it aware that you're married now, so most of the focus is on your relationship? I would say that a lot of our time is geared towards family. I do agree that it's like, you're married now, you focus on your relationship, but I think it's so healthy also to have a lot of different outlets within a marriage, whether that be your own hobbies, your own friendships, like I said. I'm going in with Hoola bronzer. I'm just bronzing up my face a little bit, and I apply a lot of bronzer. My body is tanner than my face because I self-tan, so. I think you just kind of recognize when like there are periods where a couple of weeks will go by and we just haven't really gone on like a real proper date, or I feel like we'll be going on our phone at night instead of like watching a show together and like actually bonding together. And I think you can kind of just feel that in a relationship, or maybe you just feel that you've been distant because you've been spending a lot of time with family. You just have to assess that with yourself and then kind of like pull back, look at the situation and clarify. I think both our families are pretty respectful of our time. We see my family a lot because we live like 45 minutes from my family, so we're just relatively close. I probably see them twice a week. I also just like hanging out with my family. Like, they're pretty much our friends, so we do see them a lot, but you do have to just put up boundaries, whatever that be for you. Now, I believe this is a makeup faux pas, but I'm using this Pixi by Petra Sheer Cheek Gel, and I'm putting this over powder, so I don't know. I just do it because I think my blush sticks onto this better, but I put it on my beauty blender and just kind of blend it in my skin. I love this cheek tint. It is really cute when you don't have powder on, I think, in the summer. Like I said, I will have all these things linked down below. This is one of my favorite products. I think it's really pretty. You can't see it quite well with powder. I go in with this, and this is the good stuff. This is Pixi Peach Dew Glowy Powder. This makes your skin so beautiful. Like, look at the glow. It's so pretty. I think it's just like the most beautiful blush. I just apply it on my cheeks. And again, I like a lot of blush. I think blush is really cute. I like appearing very rosy, so I just put this on my face. And then another glowy product I love, I go on with this Venix Organic. It's like a cream highlighter. And I just take this and I apply this on my chin, the bridge of my nose, my forehead, and my cheekbones. Again, a cream product over powder. I know I'm like the worst makeup person ever. I just do whatever, I think it looks good. And I go back in with this kind of blush product and I just lightly kind of dust that over. And I think that it just gives a really pretty glow, especially for the summertime. For eyelashes, I cannot do this on camera for the life of me, but I'm taking these Ardell Wispies and I basically cut from the ends and the front just a little bit so it fits my eye better and looks a little bit more natural. Apply my glue, let it get tacky. And I like this question, so I think this might be the last one I'm gonna answer, but it says, was it hard at all to switch from working hard to avoid physical intimacy in dating and engagement to accepting it as a gift from God? I've heard so many women that make that switch and how it can be very challenging, and they can struggle with guilt and shame in marriage after trying to avoid having sex for so long. Totally understand if this is too personal. I don't think it's too personal because I know this is like a common thing that people deal with. From my experience, I did not find it hard. I think that I've never felt like ashamed now of that, at least from my perspective. And again, I think everyone's different. This is just like my experience that I'm sharing from. And if you have a different experience, that is totally okay. But yeah, I just didn't find that. I felt very comfortable. And I talked about this in one of my Q&A videos, my girl talk one, but I'm actually very like comfortable in my skin. I've been very, I don't know, I've never felt like a lot of shame around my body. I'm someone who believes that like God makes us the way that we're supposed to be, but I never found it as something that I had to kind of like struggle through feeling guilty about. I think that looks good. I just put that one on. Yeah, I think with anything within a marriage, like your physical intimacy that you have with them is a very personal thing, and it's a personal journey. And I think it's okay, like if it does take you some time to figure things out, figure out how to best feel comfortable, but I think that takes just a lot of communicating. But I have never felt insecure about that realm. Like I didn't find it was a shock to me going from like not doing this thing within our relationship to suddenly doing it. I just felt like it was very much an add-on. And I also found that like within marriage, especially when you have waited, it can be this thing that you hype up in your mind, and it is like a really great thing, but it's not the main part of your marriage. I definitely think it's like something that just helps build your bond in a way that is so special. And I do think it's really important, but it's like an outlet of love, but there are so many other outlets of love too. So I think before getting married, it was never this thing that I felt, I don't know, I think that it can be really idolized even when you're not waiting until marriage. I think it can be just like such a big focus, and not having it as like this big thing. I think intimacy comes in other forms too, but no, that's not something that I ever struggled with, but I know it is something other people struggle with. It's just not something that I personally have, so I don't have a lot to say about that. I think that was one of the best times I've ever done my eyelashes. I think that they turned out really good. But I then just go in with my telescopic mascara, and I will blend the eyelashes once they've dried, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on my bottom lashes. Kind of feel like going for like a glossy lip today, so I am using this lip glow from Dior. I have it in the shade Rosewood. I'm just gonna apply this to my lips. It's kind of like a tinted lip balm. And then for an extra glow, I'm using my Lano Lips Lip Water Liquid Gold. I love this product. I think it's so pretty. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that to my lips. And now I still have to put on my outfit, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm not sure what I'm wearing, but I'll show you guys what I'm going to put on. I'm trying to show my boots. I've been waiting for the perfect time to wear these boots, but I'm just wearing my high neck top from Free People. It's actually the same one I was wearing while I was getting ready. It's just in black. My coin necklace. This cardigan I got from Urban Outfitters a very long time ago. My skirt is just this sweater kind of bodycon skirt, which I got from ThredUp. My boots are from Naturalizer. They're definitely more like fall boots, but I've been wanting to wear these because I think that they're just so fun for a date. So I'm just wearing those. This video. Again, let me know if you like more just chatty, relaxed videos. I do feel like my vlogs that I post are pretty just highly edited, which I like. I love editing videos, but I also think it's fun just to do these more kind of chit chat style videos. So let me know if you enjoyed. And if you did like this, feel free to check out my podcast. It's very similar to this. It's very chatty. I answer questions and talk about a lot of things on a deeper level that I don't do on YouTube. So I just realized I forgot to blend my eyelashes, so I just did that too. But I hope you guys just have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye, friends.